All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies course, I've been going through and creating a series of video presentations that are based on the Mozilla Developer Network Learn Web Development series. I'm in accessibility, and I'm down at the bottom of the accessibility section where we're going to talk about this assessment, accessibility troubleshooting. And it says in the assessment for this model, we present you a simple site with a number of accessibility issues that you need to diagnose and fix. Well, let's look at the issues, but we're not going to fix these. All right. So it says to get this started, you should go grab the zip containing these files. All right. And it says the finished assessment or finished site should look like this. It says you will see some differences and issues with the display of the starting statement. They're mainly due to differences in markup, which in turn cause styling issues as the CSS is not applied properly. It says don't worry, we'll be applying or fixing these problems as you go on. For this project, you are presented with a fictional nature site displaying a factual article about bears. As it stands, it has a number of accessibility issues. Your task is to explore the site, look at the errors, and fix them to the best of your ability. First, the text is difficult to read because of the current color scheme. Can you do a test? So in other words, especially this is very difficult to read because there's not a lot of difference between the white and the background that's in here. The content is still not very accessible. It says report on what happens when you try to navigate to a screen reader. All right, can you update the article text to make it easier for screen readers to use and navigate? Well, it's going to involve using roles, etc., that we've talked about before. The navigation part could be made more accessible by putting in the proper HTML semantic element. Well, that means you would add a nav tag instead of having div class equal nav. All right. The images are currently inaccessible to screen reader users. Can you fix this? Well, first of all, you're going to want to make sure there's an alt tag in there. And again, you want to come in there with a role attribute. All right. The audio player isn't accessible to hearing impaired, so you're probably going to have to go and take the built-in one, hide all of it, and put in your own using JavaScript. With forms, as mentioned here, the input element could do with a label. Well, we talked about the ARIA label that we can have the screen reader actually read out to you. Again, another good idea. All right. The show hide command control is currently not keyboard accessible. Can you make it keyboard accessible? All right, and we've talked about this as it says both in terms of focusing it on the tab key and activating it. So again, these are all different things that you'd have to set up. All right, and the data table is not very accessible. It's hard for a screen reader to associate data rows and columns together. We've talked in the past about doing things just as well as the T head, T body, and T foot area as an example. All right. Again, no way did I do that any kind of justice, but we have finished now with the accessibility section. So next, I'm going to run into the tools and testing. All right, and you'll notice the client side, GitHub, and we'll talk about in there what we're going to talk about in there. All right, as we peruse and make our way into the next section here in just a moment.